Francis Coppola. I took the call. And he's making a movie called Rumblefish in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the movie sank without a trace. There's 3 people saw it, and they're right over there. There's one more, 4 people saw it. But an interesting thing about the film was that it had in it these youngsters that nobody had ever heard of. The cast was about 18 years old, comprised of Diane Lane, Mickey Rourke, Matt Dillon, Larry Fishburne, Dennis Hopper, every single, Nicolas Cage, every single one of those 18-year-old kids has had an Academy Award. So that film sank without a trace, except for these 4 people. Everyone in it became a huge movie star. During the course of that film, he hired me to do the music. Actually, he got a bunch of musicians down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where he was making the movie. It just kind of put him in a room. That's what Francis does. He just gathers talent and see what rises. And one thing you learn as a drummer, because there's only one drum set normally, is how to get rid of the other guy. And this technique came in very handy with all these other musicians that Mr. Coppola had brought down there. I had to nuke them one by one. Hey, I got a great idea for you. How about you just get out of here? You know. And so I managed to chase off all the other musicians and get the job as composing a film. One snag: I had no idea what was involved. But he told me, this is how you do the music in films. He shows me the movie. I didn't get it, but never mind. It was high concept, and that's cool. And that's why he hired me, because it was so high concept that let's not have a real composer, let's get somebody who doesn't know what the hell he's doing and see what happens. And what he told me was, this scene here, when Matt Dillon looks at Diane Lane and says he loves her, we need to feel that love, but he's afraid. He's afraid that he's going to be meeting the other gang member and get, beat up. And so I need to feel the tension, but his love, it's kind of complex, contrasting emotions. And he didn't tell me, I want an F sharp minor, followed by this. No, he said, I need this specific, and see right there I needed to change where he forgets his fear. So I need to feel that when she kisses him, he feels, I need to feel that empowerment in the music. And that's kind of what film music does, is it tells you how to respond to a scene. If a car comes off the road and crashes into a bunch of, market stalls, things are flying everywhere. If the music, you're laughing. It's funny. It's the Blues Brothers. Ha ha ha. More cars, more crashes, and it's funny. But if the music is doom, you're scared. And the music tells you whether you're watching a comedy or whether it's tragic. Sometimes it can be more specific. Sometimes, Tom Cruise looks into the girl's eyes and says, I love you. It's Tom Cruise. The lighting is beautiful. He looks incredible. The moon is, it's just perfect. She believes it. Oh, her heart is, but the audience needs to know, by way of plot point, he's a lying son of a bitch. And so this is a composer to tell you, I love you, B flat. And so the music actually has a specific role in telling you what's going on. It tells you, oh no, this isn't good. Woman walking through a slightly dark house, big deal. Oh God, don't go down the stairs, no. And the music tells you that. So that was my first film, and I learned kind of on the job. And at one point during that first film that I scored, Francis turns around and says, this is all very fine. Because I did it with percussion, I played all the instruments myself, I had loops, and I thought I had invented loops until I hung out with one of the Pink Floyd guys recently. It turns out they were 10 years ahead of me. This is what you find with Pink Floyd. They're 10 years ahead of everything. And literally magnetic tape going around the room on mic stands, going over the head. I'd get a piece of music of a pile driver, gong, ching, and I put a loop, and it'd go round and around, gong, ching, gong, and I get some dogs going, and you could build up. Francis just loved this. This is some high concept here. And so in every reel of the film, he had these different rhythmic underlayers. There was a billiard ball break where they do the billiard ball and they go, and you can build a rhythm out of that. And so I was just making this up as I was going along. He kind of liked it. But one day, he turns around and he said, this is all really great. I'm loving it. This is really dark. This is really scary. But, you know, it's a bit dry. It's a bit kind of acidic here. Can you give me some strings? And I go, and see a penny drop there, because he just like that. He was yeah, who's that guy who writes strings? Get that guy in here and get him to write some strings. Nuh-uh. Yeah, Francis, you're so right. I got this. Yeah, we're gonna get you some strings. We're gonna put some strings. Oh, it's gonna be sweet. And so Francis and his crew leave, and I'm in there, and I call up the contractor. Send me some strings. Cool, great. Yeah, how many? I don't know. Strings. How many strings is strings? I don't know. More than one, I guess. And I said, well, if you want kind of two guys playing, that's a quartet. If you want kind of a bit of a Baroque thing, that's chamber. That's about 14, 15 guys. If you want, you know, Wagner, that's going to be, you know, 20 first violins and, you know, a lot of, you know, well, let's go with like 20 guys, because I was a little intimidated. And so I had these chords that I played. You know, I played, you know, the good Lord, I could play guitar, I could play trombone, drum, all these instruments, they just come naturally to me, except for the piano. I did not get the gift of pianitude. So these chords, I'll hit one chord, okay, roll tape, 2, 3, and bling, okay, stop the tape, okay, the next chord there, okay, that, okay, roll tape, 2, 3, next chord, and I can build it up that way. That's the, you know, the studio is actually itself an instrument, and you can use the studio to create music without actually having to have pianitude. And so, but I had all these chords, and I got an arranger to look at, I showed him the chords I did. Okay, arrange that for strings. And so the string players show up, the 20 guys show up, and as you do when you're recording my kind of musicians, you go and hi guys, so we got this thing here that got this kind of groove, and the guy looks into her eyes and he says he loves her, and we need to feel that he loves her, and it's kind of this thing, and we're kind of cruising in A, and it's kind of this bass riff here, let me show you the bass riff, and they're looking more and more worried, and I'm bonding with them. I'm making them feel good. They don't look like they're feeling good. They're looking more and more nervous, until finally one of them says, Maestro, do you want us to play what's on the page, or whatever the heck you're talking about? And I said, okay, let's play what's on the page. And so they played, and they were done in 10 minutes. It was written down on the page. They're done. You know, when you book a guitarist, you book them for the afternoon. They're in there all afternoon. You try this, maybe that Les Paul's got a kind of a chunkier sound. Let's hear the Les Paul. Try, you know, and you try stuff, you make it up, and that's very creative, and that's the fun of working with guitars. But you put it on the page, and they play it right there, and you make it go, I need to go a little louder. We'll put a hairpin on it, and they'll play it. It's amazing. That was because see, I actually could read music. I had studied music. I had majored in music in college. I actually knew from music. I sort of knew. I hadn't seen a page of music in all my entire career. I traveled the world. I played Shea Stadium. Never saw a page of music. But I knew how to do that, and that brought me to music printed on a page, which brought me to orchestras, which brought me to Andreas.
What a great transition. Here we go. So, quite a few years that you wrote all kinds of film and TV series and lots of things. So how did you get to write your first opera? And why opera? Isn't that, I mean,
that is a good question.
You just talked about film.